Now then, people, and welcome to the latest instalment on the Just Joe Football Show. It's time for your weekend roundup. Really excited to get into this week's. As always, excited to pump out the content for you that are watching. Remember, subscribe to the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. I want to get to 1K. Once we start getting to 1K, we're going to start smashing them watch-alongs out of all the other important games that are in and around the football pyramid. And of course, the Euros. I personally cannot wait for the Euros. So make sure you hit the notification button so you are notified when all that great content goes live. And as always, just please subscribe to the channel and like the video. And let's get into it. Your weekend roundup. Heard it right. It's going to be Just Joe, and it's going to be all about football. He showed descent. Bamford, it's in! Yes! Yes! I don't see many more appearances from Pablo. Fantastic, inaugural guest. I had to pull out the big guns. And this is the moment when I take a stand. Let's go! And what better way to start, guys, than, of course, at Craven Cottage, where the Mighty Whites finally won in London. We haven't won there since 2017, as we all know about the London curse. But, of course, we came away from Craven Cottage with all 3 points. It was, of course, Patrick Bamford that set us on our way. Anderson scored from a set piece, and then Rafinha picked up all 3 points for us on the 58th minute. And what does that mean for one Patrick Bamford? It, of course, means he's on 14 goals now. Up there with the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane, Bruno Fernandes, Mo Salah, No, not Ollie Watkins. I mean, Southgate, really? Really? I don't know, maybe he scored this weekend. We'll find out a little bit later on, but I'm just not quite sure about that decision, Gareth. But then again, you know, Ollie Watkins presses, and of course Bamford doesn't, does he? Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next fixture. Was, of course, a relegation 6-pointer, if you will. Brighton v Newcastle. And as you can see from that result, the Toon Army got absolutely battered. Got absolutely battered by Brighton. The XG Kings, of course, they should be top 4 if you check expected points. But listen, I didn't expect it. A lot of people did. I said in my preview with Lee Gunner, fancied Newcastle to get it. They were undefeated in 3. I know it was only 3 points, but ultimately they were getting points. And that's what you need when you're down there, because points win prizes. But no, they got absolutely battered, as you can see. Trossard and Danny Welbeck, some absolute screaming goals, to be fair. I think my favourite was Danny Welbeck's, but Neil Maupay got on the score sheet as well. And all 3 were really decent goals, to be fair. And Brighton are a good side when it does work for them. And maybe next season, because for me, that all but confirms their survival. I know people will say, well, hang on a minute, no, there's a long way to go. You know, especially Leeds fans, because Leeds fans up until Friday night thought we were still in a relegation dogfight. But I think that'll mean that Brighton are secure, and it's between Newcastle and Fulham. And, of course, they play each other on the last day of the season. So that is going to be one tie, because I fully expect Newcastle and Fulham to be still fighting it out till then. In terms of the bottom 6, you can see here, Brighton now giving themselves a little bit of a gap with an actual game in hand over Fulham as well. Newcastle still down there, only 2 points between them. So, you know, we've only, 8 games left for Fulham. They need to start picking up points and quick. It'd be interesting to see what happens at Newcastle. Will they sack Steve Bruce? I don't see it. I'm sorry, Newcastle fans. Mike Ashley's a gambling man, and he'll just sit it out and see if Steve Bruce can stay up by hook and crook. But I'm not too sure. I don't know what's going on. I still fancy them, but something's not right. Well, we know what's not right at Newcastle. Mike Ashley, Steve Bruce is your gaffer. And, of course, look, with all due respect, when you're bringing in players like Ryan Fraser, I mean, is he really up for the fight? This is the guy that last season at Bournemouth refused to play, you know? He downed tools, didn't help his mates out, you know, down tools, got his move to Newcastle, and he could be getting relegated again by all accounts. So, you know, for that, serves you right, Fraser. But anyway, let's move on to the next fixture. This was a real turn-up for the Bucks, a real advert for the Premier League. 3-3 it was. West Ham actually went 3-up in the first half before Lacazette got one just before. It's gone down as a Souček own goal, but it was a wonder strike from Lacazette on the 38th minute, which meant that Arsenal had something to go into the second half with. But some great goals in the build-up. Lingard with a nice little half volley from the edge of the box. Jared Bowen, a free kick taken quickly that Arsenal defensively weren't great, got caught napping, and Souček's been given the goal, but it was all about Mikel Antonio's header on the third one for me. And look, West Ham must have been thinking, wow, what a turn up for the Bucks. Obviously, Arsenal get one a little bit later on. It's Lacazette that comes in. But of course, I mean, I don't know who this is worse for. Like West Ham, obviously going for the top four. It's probably not going to happen. These are the games you need to win in order to keep the top four, especially when you are 3 up, 3 up. But they weren't able to hold on. But I mean, look at Arsenal, they're in 11th. I don't know who this is worse for, but obviously West Ham fans and my man Corey must have been absolutely gutted, because when you're 3-0 up, you must be thinking you're home and dry. But obviously Arsenal got back on level terms. Odegaard was decent as well for me in the second half, involved in 2 of the goals. I think he's turning out to be a decent, loan for them. And I think they do want to make it permanent, Arsenal fans. Let me know if that is the case. And the last of your Premier League action was at Villa Park. Villa, the one-man team. I think that, look, since Grealish has come out, I know they beat us, but they've been pretty woeful. Lost again, and Jack Grealish is such a massive loss for them. I think, look, as always with the Spurs game, it was pretty boring. I think there was only 1 shot in the first half, but they did come out winners. Carlos Vinicius getting his first Premier League goal, and of course Harry Kane, winning a penalty and of course scoring the penalty on the 68th minute, meaning Tottenham won the game and picked up all 3 points. But there's more stuff going on at Tottenham. Obviously, getting knocked out midweek in the Europa League wasn't. Yeah, I fancied Tottenham to go all the way under Mourinho, but obviously that didn't happen. That was it for your Premier League. There was only 4 ties this weekend, quite quiet. But it was the FA Cup weekend, quarter-final weekend. And of course, we got kicked off, first of all, by Bournemouth versus Southampton. Listen, I back Bournemouth in this because Southampton have been so woeful of late, but that is only in the league. As you can see, they're through to the semi-final now. Some good goals. Redmond got 2, Gineppo got them off early doors, making it 1-0. And then Redmond, as I said, the second one was really good. Great solo finish. Took it inside, smashed it into the top bins, and got the third, and a decent result for Southampton. And now they're at Wembley and they're in the semi-final. What more can you ask for? I guess they're not going to get relegated. They'll be happy. I understand their league form's really poor, but if they were to get to Wembley in a semi-final at the start of the season and, get survival, they'd probably take it. Next fixture in the FA Cup was Everton versus Manchester City. Manchester City just passed Everton to death. They held on for so long. KDB came off the bench in the 80th minute and was involved in both goals. He was taken down in the lead up to Gundogan's. Foden gets a shot off. Good save by the goalkeeper off the crossbar. Gundogan, who's in hot form this season. I wish Pep would just play him in every, because I've got him in my EPL team. But obviously, he does move it around a bit. But yeah, he was on the rebound header, in you go. And then KDB rounded it off later on as well with a good finish on his left foot. So he came on and, was involved in both goals. But what more can you expect from KDB? And of course, there you go. So you've had Southampton through, you've got Man City through. Who was to join them? Chelsea versus Sheffield United. Surely only one winner. Going to be a rout, surely. Wasn't the case. It was only 2-0, and that was 2-0 on the 92nd minute, a goal from Ziyech, to be honest. David McGoldrick had a chance to make it 1s apiece and missed a sitter, a header that he put wide. Could have been so different. The first goal was a Norwood own goal as well from a Chilwell strike. But look, Tuchel, still undefeated. I think they've conceded 2 goals in the time he's been there. They are so hard to beat, as Leeds United seen as well. But they're pretty toothless in front of goal. They're not scoring enough goals. We've seen Sheffield United against Leicester get spanked 5-0. I did say I only predicted 2-0 with Lee Gunning. He said it could have been 6 or 7. It wasn't the case, because Chelsea, however good they are, they just can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. It was an own goal and a late strike on the 92nd minute to, knock out Sheffield United. And Sheffield United will be absolutely gutted now. Nothing for them to look forward to other than Championship football. Sorry, Blades. And the final one for me, which made me a very, very happy boy, as you can imagine, was Leicester City knocking out Manchester United. So you've got Southampton, City, Chelsea, and now Leicester in the FA Cup semi-finals. Iheanacho absolutely flying. He's got 7 goals now, 7 goals in 4 games. Man United, obviously, another trophyless season unless they can win the Europa League. I'm not sure they will for me personally, but that'll be no trophies in 4 years now. But yeah, Leicester, look, Iheanacho, Maguire and Fred absolutely at 6s and 7s. Maguire is so terrible. Poor passing to Fred, who, again, poor pass back to Henderson, and Iheanacho nipped in and put it round him. They did get one back from Greenwood, one's a piece, but Tielemans put them in front 2-1 with a great strike, and Iheanacho with a header at the back post to round it off with a 3-1 win to Leicester. And I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing for them. I like Leicester. I do like Leicester. In terms of semi-final draw, then, what does that mean? That means Leicester City will play Southampton. So I'm happy about this because it will mean either one of them sides will make the final, you know. That's always nice to see someone to upset the apple cart a little bit. Unless, can you really say that about Leicester now? Because they are one of the bigger, better teams in the division, which also then means Chelsea versus City. That'll be an interesting game for me. City all day. I mean, City are on for the quadruple. I, for myself, wouldn't mind seeing it if I'm being totally honest. I know money, etc., and people say, "Oh, it's all about money," but I wouldn't mind seeing the quadruple done within time that I remember. You know what I mean? And we could speak about that City side. They're up there with one of the best teams in the world. You know, they've got Dortmund, who I fancy them to beat. I know they've got Haaland, but I do fancy them to beat. They've got Chelsea, who I fancy them to beat because Chelsea don't score many. I know they're good defensively, but City are that good that they will score for me personally. But yeah, so I fancy City in that one, and I think Leicester. You've got to fancy Leicester, so we could have a Leicester City FA Cup final. Obviously, City already in the Carabao Cup final. Who'd have thought they would have gone on this run and be as good as they are towards the end of the season with the start that they had? Absolutely phenomenal season for them so far. And that was it from your weekend roundup. It's always short. It's always snappy. Let me know if you like this style of content, guys. Please smash a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel as well. And yeah, let me see if we can get to 1K and then we can start smashing them watch-alongs. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace. Boom.